So what are we doing?
What do you think?
Looks like vacuuming to me.
This is our first vlog.
It is. It's still under construction. I made a title card on blue, like graph paper, so that we'd have something appropriate.
Well, I'm just trying to get some of the dirt out of the main pond before we get our fish delivery on Thursday. I don't know if you can tell, but today I installed one or two fill valves or foot valves, but I'm just going to use them to fill and run two lines into the house and be able to run RO as well as another line, which I think I'm going to run like a buffered solution. So I'll put that on a pH controller, and if I need to intervene or as it decides it needs to adjust pH, it'll dose baking soda and water, essentially. So I'll run pure water after it's been stripped by the RO filters inside the house to always top up the pond, as well as do water changes. And now I need to run some more water.
Might have to dub that in after the fact. It doesn't pick you. Microphone doesn't pick you up very well.
Well, I have been looking for a reason to get that sort of sound.
Gets a nice cinematic blur on the tomato plants.
Are you using the 20 to 70?
Yeah. Whole setup weighs about a kilogram.
Just remember, if you ever dump a lot of water into the pond from the tap, throw a couple handfuls of of sodium thiosulfate in it, and that will
Knock out the chlorine.
We don't have any chloramine in the water, so it's behind you. So whenever I add water, you need to also add sodium thiosulfate.
As we're getting our water from the tap, the best tap water in the state of Indiana, it should be known.
It's awfully hard though. So what I'm going to try to do this time is treat the pond like one of my aquariums, and I'll feed it RO, and then I'll occasionally feed it some buffer solution. So I'm going to run a red half-inch PEX line and a blue half-inch PEX line, and they'll go to two different, they'll go to two different feeds to the
So a buffer solution would be water with both chlorine and the thiosulfate in it, right? Both.
No, nothing to do with chlorine. It won't have any chlorine in it. It'll just be pH 8.3. So you add a little bit of because it'll be close to pH 8.3, probably 8.2. And then if you dose that into your water, that just adds more hardness to increase the pH. So the big risk of running RO is a pH crash because your water gets very soft. But what I'm doing is trying to mimic the water they have in Japan, which is all stream-fed water and comes from rocks and stuff like that. So it's very, very soft. It's very low pH water to begin with. So that's what I'm going to try to do and run pH 7.0 or 7.1, something like that. So my pH controller, I'll have a pH controller hooked up to this such that when it senses the pHs going too low, it will dose it with a known amount of solution, and that's why I want 2 lines. And both of them are going to be foil taped together with metal tape and also a heat tape. So all along that line of those 2 1/2 inch PEX tubings, a piece of heat tape will be taped alongside them, and then they'll be sealed in insulation, and then that will all go in 4-inch PVC that runs from the skimmer to a junction that I'll put in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll feed it RO from the furnace room, as well as that buffered solution. That's the plan.